Picture this. It's 3 a.m. You're awake. The room is quiet, but your mind isn't. You're staring at the ceiling while your thoughts run through every financial disaster that could happen tomorrow. The car might break down. Your laptop could stop working. What if you lose your job? What if your pet needs emergency surgery? What if something happens that you simply can't afford? If that feels familiar, you're not alone. Now imagine something different. Imagine there was a specific number, not a fantasy number like $1 million, but a realistic, reachable amount of money that could dramatically reduce those midnight anxiety spirals. A number that wouldn't make you rich, but would fundamentally change how you move through life. Most people think financial milestones are arbitrary, just numbers wealthy people throw around to make everyone else feel behind. But certain amounts of money create very real psychological shifts. There's math behind it. There's behavioral science behind it. And the first true turning point isn't $100,000. It's $10,000. I spent a lot of time thinking about money and psychology, not just how to earn it, but how it changes people. Why some people seem calm during financial challenges, while others feel constantly on edge. Why the same unexpected expense feels like a catastrophe to one person and a mild inconvenience to another. If you've ever wondered what actually changes when your savings grow, not just externally, but internally, this is where things get interesting. Before we talk about why $10,000 matters, let's be honest about what life looks like without it. You know that feeling in the grocery store when you're calculating whether you can afford the name brand cereal? Or when friends invite you out and you mentally rehearse an excuse because $25 for dinner would wreck your weekly budget. That constant mental math isn't dramatic, it's exhausting. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, every decision feels fragile. Every unexpected expense feels like a threat. You're always playing defense. There's no room to think long-term because you're too busy making sure nothing collapses today. But something subtle happens when you reach your first five-figure savings balance. It's not about buying better things. Most people don't suddenly change their lifestyle when they hit $10,000. The shift is psychological. The first thing that changes is your relationship with risk. When you have no savings, every decision feels dangerous. Changing jobs, moving cities, taking a course, even planning a trip. It all feels like one wrong move could destroy you financially. But when you have $10,000 sitting in your account, those same decisions feel manageable. You don't become reckless. You don't quit your job to chase something unrealistic. But you might finally ask for the promotion. You might invest in a certification. You might negotiate harder because you're not operating from fear. That safety net doesn't make you careless. It gives you breathing room. There's also something happening biologically. Financial security reduces stress hormones like cortisol. That means when you see a five-figure balance in your account, your body literally reacts differently to everyday challenges. Think about a check engine light. If you're broke, that dashboard symbol feels like a countdown to disaster. You immediately think about credit cards, borrowing money, or what you'll sacrifice to fix it. With $10,000 saved, the same light is still annoying, but it's not terrifying. That shift from panic to inconvenience changes everything. When you're not constantly stressed about money, you sleep better. You think clearer. You're more patient with people. Financial stress quietly drains mental energy. Removing it frees up space you didn't even realize was being consumed. Here's the part most people miss. The benefit of $10,000 isn't spending it. It's knowing it's there. That's the emergency fund effect. The money often stays untouched. But because it exists, you make better decisions. You take calculated opportunities. You stop reacting emotionally to minor setbacks. Confidence also changes. When you know you have money in the bank, you negotiate differently. You walk away from bad deals. You don't cling to situations out of desperation. That confidence alone can improve job outcomes, relationships, and long-term earning potential. Now, maybe $10,000 feels impossible right now. Maybe you're thinking you can barely save $100. The hardest part isn't the money itself. It's identity. Most people treat saving like a temporary diet. They restrict aggressively, burn out, then return to old habits. But people who reach $10,000 don't see it as short-term sacrifice. They see themselves as someone who saves. That identity shift is powerful. When you believe you're someone who saves, you naturally start spotting small leaks in your spending. You become creative about increasing income. You think long-term instead of chasing immediate gratification. And the process gets easier over time. Saving your first $1,000 feels hard. The second is easier. By the time you're halfway to $10,000, the habits feel automatic. There's also a practical reality. Most financial emergencies, car repairs, medical bills, temporary job loss, fall under $10,000. Reaching that milestone means you're insulated from the majority of common financial shocks that trap people in debt cycles. But maybe the biggest change is how you start seeing money itself. Without savings, money feels scarce, temporary, something that disappears the moment you're paid. With $10,000 saved, money becomes a tool, a foundation, something that can create options instead of just cover bills. That's when people start thinking about investing, not because they suddenly become financial experts, but because they finally have mental space to consider the future. The person with $10,000 saved is often closer to financial independence than someone earning twice as much with zero savings. Because keeping money is a skill. Earning alone isn't enough. You probably know high earners who are constantly broke, and modest earners who are stable and calm. The difference isn't income, it's behavior. $10,000 teaches you patience. It teaches delayed gratification. It forces clarity between wants and needs. Practically speaking, it gives you options. Most car repairs fall within that range. Many medical emergencies do too. Job loss becomes survivable instead of catastrophic. You get time, and time is one of the most valuable financial assets you can have. It also creates opportunity. Maybe there's a course that costs $2,000 but increases your earning potential. Without savings, that's impossible. With savings, it's strategic. Maybe there's a networking event you'd normally skip because $50 feels risky. But that event leads to a connection worth thousands in future income. Security increases your willingness to invest in yourself. Sleep improves. Relationships improve. You're less irritable because you're not mentally juggling unpaid bills in the background. And here's something subtle but powerful. Decision fatigue decreases. When you're broke, you're constantly calculating small purchases. Generic or name brand. Lunch out or packed. Gas today or tomorrow. With $10,000 saved, most of those survival-based decisions disappear. You choose based on preference, not panic. That mental relief is freedom. Now, let's be realistic. $10,000 doesn't make you rich. You're not quitting your job. You're not living extravagantly. But you're breathing. And breathing room is a foundation of smart financial decisions. It allows you to optimize slowly, shop insurance rates, switch phone plans, negotiate bills. Those small improvements compound over time. The real transformation isn't in the balance. It's in who you become while building it. You become patient, intentional, less reactive, more strategic. That identity compounds long after the number grows. So if you're starting at zero, don't panic. Start small. Stay consistent. Even $25 or $50 per month build momentum. Because the person you become while saving your first $10,000 is far more valuable than the number itself. And once you reach it, you'll realize something surprising. The money changed your account, but the process changed your life.